Good afternoon. I just want to know if you've ever felt like I'm just spinning my wheels, starting new systems, new ideas, new goals, but I never actually finish on one of those. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, one of the things I've noticed a lot of just by talking to so many firm owners that are absolutely buried. They've got 12 projects started, a new CRM, a process overhaul, team training, onboarding cleanup, trying to increase prices, trying to hire, and it just feels like too much. And that's true because it is too much. And I've been there too. Every time I sat down to fix something, another fire would pop up. So I'd push it off again and just kick it down the road. And that's so what's one thing that you're putting off that's been hanging over your head? And today on our my office hours call today, we talked a lot about pricing and about how most of them wanted to kick it down the road because it's just so hard. It's so hard when you think about the number of clients that need to be repriced. And so that kind of prompted what I wanted to talk about today because many of you think, well, I just procrastinate, and it's really not procrastination. It's actual paralysis. When everything feels urgent, your brain doesn't know where to start. So it just like shuts down. And I know when I feel overwhelmed, I can't even think straight. And I'm just going to share just a story right now. I have a speech to do later this afternoon, and I have like been practicing it and practicing it to the point where now I can't even get any of the words right. And so now I'm paralyzed by that speech. And here I am doing a Facebook Live, an impromptu Facebook Live, just like hanging out on Facebook. And I'm not paralyzed, but that one project has me paralyzed, or I'm overthinking it, thinking it and thinking too hard into it and just over analyzing it. And that's the thing. That's what a lot of us are doing because when you're overloaded, that's when we really start over analyzing things. Well, should I do this or should I do that? And we really start over analyzing it. And until you fix how you're carrying everything, you'll keep feeling like you're behind. And that's not true, even when you're working nonstop. Because this is one of the things I have been studying for years now about unfinished projects and what it's a symptom of. And it's usually something deeper, like lack of clarity, lack of delegation, lack of capacity. Most firm owners are carrying around about 10 people's jobs because they haven't built the systems, trust, or structure that let them step back. Because they're like picking at these little things and doing a little bit, and it's not accomplishing anything because you can't do it all at one time, and that's what many of you want. So what one of the things that we were talking about on our coaching call today, they were like, well, maybe if we just increase prices like 20% across the board, that'll solve it. And I'm like, well, 20% of what? And they're like, oh, I see what you're saying. And then I'm like, then how are we gonna do that across the board? Oh, I've got to implement a system, or I need to hire an admin, or I need to do this. So then what that means is nothing's going to happen. And unfortunately, this is the nature of the beast. We have to pick one thing and focus on just one thing. And so, because you can't implement new systems, fix processes, or lead your team effectively when you're buried in the day to day. And that's where so many of you are. But I want to give you hope and I want to give you a path forward. The solution isn't to do more, it's not to work more, it's to lead a little bit different. Because when you get clear on what matters most, when you delegate with structure, when your team owns their roles, everything changes. And I want to bring your attention. I said delegate with structure because many of you will delegate something to somebody, whether it be a contractor or an employee, and then it comes right back to you. It's like a rubber band, just comes right back to you. So you have to delegate it with structure. But this is where we get clear on what are you delegating and what do we need to have in place for that delegation to happen. Because you don't need 12 new projects. You need one clear path, one clear thing to delegate. But many of you are trying to delegate 15 things at one time, and it's just not possible. So I want to give you some examples. So I had one client that finally cleaned up her project list. And by project list, I mean like her task management system. And she got really clear. She focused all in on getting her task in the task management system. That is all she focused on, that one thing. She realized half of it didn't even need to be on her plate because she was working from here. But she worked on that one project list and getting it into a system. And she chose that one thing. Another stopped starting new systems until the old ones were fully implemented. And suddenly her team could actually breathe, because that's what many people are doing, is like, financial sense isn't working, so I'm going to go implement Asana's not working, so I'm going to go implement TaxDome isn't working, so I'm going to go implement something else. And so we have all these half built systems that are causing us all to be overwhelmed, and they're causing all these projects to be like halfway done or a quarter done or 10% done. So if this hits for you, you don't need another someday plan. You need a strategy and clarity on what to do first and what to stop doing. That's what we help firm owners do every single day. We get under the overwhelm to find what's really keeping you stuck and move you forward for good. Because overwhelm is a symptom of something else. And so that's what I need you to hear me say. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's a symptom of something else. What is that something else? So I'd like for you, if you need help figuring out what that something else is, call below and let's have a call about it, and let's talk about it, and let's book a one-to-one conversation. Or feel free to DM me. I have no problem with that too. I talk to a lot of people in the DMs. Let's talk through where you're stuck, what's working, and what needs to shift. This is just truth and clarity, and because I've been where many of you are, and I know it can be different. Because I want you to hear me say this: you're not behind. You're just trying to carry too much alone. And that's where we can fix this together. So I would love to have a conversation if any of this hit home for you and you want to see where you're stuck. Please reach out for help, because that is why we do what we do, is because there is a better place than overwhelm. Because many of you, the overwhelm is actually going over not only into your business, but into your personal life. And I know it because I lived it. So if you want to book a call, comment call below, or feel free to DM me. That's fine too. And let's talk about where you're stuck. I hope this was helpful, and have a fantastic rest of your day.